Hi everyone, hope you're all having a good weekend. I hope you're all doing well. So I think the plan today is probably to do some PSU. So it's been a couple of weeks since we did it, so we'll do some PSU, try and grind a bit towards Ultimate. Monday tomorrow, I'm dying inside. I feel the same. I've had a week off from work and I'll go back tomorrow. I kind of feel like it's almost worse when you've been off as well, because you know you're going to go back into piles of work waiting for you. Need Xmas and New Year's to roll around, 2 weeks off. Yeah, I've got some time off over Christmas as well, so I can't wait for that now. Hi, Draken. I feel like I'm pulling you away from Phantasy Star Zero at the minute. It seems like you've been grinding on that quite a bit. So just while we get started, there is a video that just went live today, which is the next PSO side stories video. So that covers value of money, journalistic pursuit, and faking yellow. P0 is awesome. I knew you were going to get into a rabbit hole playing it. It does seem that way, killing off. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. So yeah, the side stories video went live today, so that introduces a few more new characters like Null. And also the weirdest quest in PSO where he just stops someone from buying weapons. Poor guy. Hi, Pickerwood. We need a Null emote. I should get one really, yeah. I did get a funny comment from someone that just said, "Oh no, you've been nulled." So then tomorrow there will be a PSP2 video tomorrow for members, which will go live to everyone else on Wednesday, and that will be the last PSP2 video. So I finally managed to beat the story of PSP2 earlier today. It took me so long to record that video. I mentioned it earlier in my members chat, but yeah, the final boss took me, I think it was about 5 times to beat it. You can feel the struggle. Yeah, the last boss is no joke. Surprised PSU isn't giving you PTSD. I think PSU honestly is pretty chill. Apart from Ultimate, obviously. I know Ultimate is really, really difficult, but it feels, at the moment, it feels chill compared to PSP2. So as for plans going forward, so obviously the Monday upload was always the members upload for the PSP2 series. So I'm going to have a think to see what I want to do to replace that for members. Because obviously I want to give members a reason to, you know, to feel like they're getting enough value from the membership. So I probably will start doing some other members only videos as well. I think the plan as well is now that video series is done, I think the plan is probably to do some Monster Hunter content as well. So we'll probably start to fill in some of those time slots with Monster Hunter content as well, just as we build up to Monster Hunter Wilds. You know, most of us are only members to support you as a creator. I know, but I don't want to say that though. Value for membership. The thing is though, I mean, you are, you know, if you remember, you are paying money for the membership. You know, I feel you should get something for it. Monster Hunter is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to doing more Monster Hunter content, obviously, to be honest. I know the video I did looking at the Wilds beta didn't do particularly well, but at the same time, it's the first Monster Hunter video in months and months and months, if not years. So I don't expect it to be a quick pickup. I think it's going to take a while to get views on those, which I'm totally fine with. Hey, look, it's the PS0 dance. I mean, you're not wrong. Hi, Zell. Yeah, so I think the plan on PSU today is just try and grind some experience. I just want to get as close to a kind of Ultimate as I can. In regards to Phantasy Star Zero though, I am planning on finishing the story mode, hopefully over the next week. I have done a little bit more work on it, but I'm trying to get it completed just so I can, I suppose, so I can avoid spoilers to an extent. I don't know if you can join your 171. That's fine. I mean, I'm only 176 anyway. Can't join, I'm only level 90. What could we do at level 90? Out of curiosity, would it be maybe what, S? I'm guessing. So yeah, the plan for PS0, because I am enjoying it a bit more, I may do some more videos on that. I kind of want to do a review on PS0. I could. One thing I would like to do is, once I've completed the story and I've seen what it involves, I would like to do sort of, not so much a lore video exactly, but I know there are some ties between PS0 and PSO, so I kind of feel like it's my job almost to cover any like lore aspects. I still have to download the game anyway. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was really surprised, killing off actually after the stream on Wednesday with the PS0. It seems like there is a lot of love for that game. Certainly a lot more love for PS0 than PSP2. Although again, I do appreciate that not everyone wants to watch like several, well, 20 odd episode series where the episodes are an hour long. I appreciate that is a lot of time invested. PSP2 was multiplayer. I think there is still a roundabout way of doing it. I know Zale did mention it before, I remember. I can't remember the exact steps you need to take to actually set it up. You can do multiplayer via 0 tier 1. I mean, if that's something we can set up, I'm always down for doing PSP2 multiplayer as well. Oh, you play sometimes as well, Pika? Oh, cool. So I'll just dump some of this stuff in here, just so I've actually got some space to carry stuff. Yeah, that'll do. You can use Admin to host it. Okay. The start of the sitting and drip in the public lobby. I mean, that's what you do in Phantasy Star games, isn't it? You just show off the drip everywhere. I'm glad you're enjoying the PSP2 playthrough, Kilniath. I know it has not been the most popular thing, but I'm honestly, it was kind of like a relief to get it finished. As much as I've enjoyed revisiting PSP2, it has been a lot of work to do that series. Particularly having to record the final boss over and over again. Yeah, we do have another slot. Pick her if you want. So yeah, then next Wednesday stream we'll be continuing with the original Phantasy Star. So we'll be doing that about every 2 weeks. So that'll be every 2 weeks, and then they are literally going around everyone in the lobby and kissing them. Alright. I love that someone just downloads PSU just to run around and kiss everyone else in the game. It's a bit NGS behaviour, that, I think. Cooties. Yeah, so it will be Phantasy Star 1 stream, just continuing from where we left off. That will be this Wednesday. Obviously, like I said, the PSP2 video will go live to everyone on the Wednesday as well. Next Sunday, I think I'm probably going to do... I may do PSO BB. Just because I feel like I've been doing that a bit less lately. I know we have streamed it a bit recently, but I kind of feel it's something I need to go back to fairly often. Next Monster Hunter stream, so we might do Monster Hunter possibly the week after. What I may do though is we may actually do a poll with a few possible suggestions for the following Wednesday. Because with the original Phantasy Star only being once every 2 weeks, there'll be like odd weeks where we'll do other games instead. So I think the plan is maybe to do a poll. I honestly wouldn't mind playing some Monster Hunter at some point though. I am aware we haven't done any Monster Hunter Rise yet. So that's one option. Honestly, I just need February for Wilds. I do want to go back to some of the old ones as well at some point, yeah. Maybe Gen Ultimate. Yeah, I do have Gen Ultimate on the Switch. I am very, very early in that game. This GU is not classic. But it kind of controls like some of the older games in terms of... It has the old things like not being able to move while using potions and so on. But I get what you mean, it is still a fairly modern-ish game. Image 4U is the most complete classic experience without one-off mechanics. The only problem is I know it's quite hard to get some of them now. Figure if you do get on, if you can just join mid-run, feel free to. If not, then you can just join the next run. Yeah, I think unfortunately it would have to be a case of getting like a hard copy, because if I remember correctly, I think a lot of the games are... I think a lot of games that were on the store, so like the 3DS store and so on, I think the store went down, didn't it? So you can't actually get them on the online stores anymore. Also Cease Forest. Is that a rifle? That rifle is huge. No, hi, Pika. Use alternate stars. I mean, realistically, I think most people who are playing those games, particularly for streams, are emulating it now. But yeah, I always hear that 4U is quite often considered to be the best game, so it would be nice to try them. I mean, I'd like to try all of them at some point. Even the original one, as much as I know I'll regret it. 4U needs a few cheats activated to lock the frame rate and such to run well in Citra, but once you do it, it runs flawlessly. And Citra has multiplayer support too. Oh, cool. You like 4U because you can see everyone in the cutscenes. What is the point in this here? Yeah, I think there will be an increase in Monster Hunter content for sure. It's, for the time being, it's never going to be the main focus of the channel, obviously, because I appreciate a lot of people have, you know, subbed or watched the channel for Phantasy Star. I never really want to move away from that too much because I appreciate what a lot of people want to see. But it is nice to be able to play other games I'm interested in as well. Hi, Bonk. It wasn't me that loaded this, I have to add. Oh, I keep pressing circle to pick things up. That's because I played PSP2 earlier. For You was also the first one where the story played a bigger role, and it kind of feels like Wilds in that regard with character focus. It does feel like, from what we've seen of Wilds, which admittedly isn't much yet, it does feel like story is quite prominent in this. Yeah, I'm excited to start doing some of the content though as well. I know I did get a comment on YouTube. I mentioned this in the community post, but I did get a comment on one of the videos that suggested me doing this like a second channel for the Monster Hunter stuff. But I just, to be honest, I don't feel like the upkeep for a second channel. I kind of feel like what I do at the moment with the 2 videos a week, 2 streams a week is enough for me. And I really do not want to take on a second channel. I'm not saying it'll never happen, and if it did, it would be for things that were completely different to gaming. But yeah, I just don't see the benefit of it for me at the minute. And if you ever did one, I will be there to say I told you so. I kind of feel that the way that PSO and games like PSU, obviously, and Monster Hunter play, it does have some similarities. I know there are a lot of differences as well, but there are definitely some, there are some similarities between the two, and I feel there is some crossover. It's kind of funny how easy PSU feels after playing PSP2 earlier. Ah, you mean the genre of party-based RNG grinds? I mean, yeah, basically, yeah. This HD remake looks nice. Yeah, the PSO areas in PSU are kind of weird. I mean, they're reasonably well done. And I like how where they haven't got the PSO enemies, they've substituted in PSU enemies that kind of feel similar. So these guys are obviously meant to be like the lilies, because the lilies aren't actually in PSU. But the scaling feels off, I think. It's kind of hard to explain, but it kind of feels like the area is too big. I think that probably shows it there. You can see how big the boxes are next to me. But still, I appreciate that they brought PSO maps into PSU. It is a cool little touch. Probably because they realised that people just wanted PSO, so they thought, right, well, we'll just bring PSO to PSU. For You does have randomly generated maps in RNG. They missed the trick not bringing that back. Yeah, I guess in like later games like World, it's always fixed maps, isn't it? You can see the scaling issue quite a bit when you walk through the doors, actually. The doors just look huge next to your character. The scale's just a bit weird. Corral is just full of short stacks. Yes, that was a grass assassin. Now, I don't know why they're green. I don't know. Maybe someone who's more familiar with the classic Phantasy Stars. Do grass assassins appear in any of the classic games? Because that's the only reason I can think of they might be green in this. There are green ones in PS1, okay. So there is merit for it. I mean, it is weird that they're green in PSO caves, but yeah. Or maybe 2, okay. Or maybe Goral is just full of short stacks, maybe that's why everything's off in scale. They also come in varied colours in Phantasy Star 4, okay. Alright, so they're in 4 as well, fair enough. But yeah, I think where they have made the substitute enemies, I think they've done a reasonable job in PSU. I mean, I would say these guys are not particularly like evil sharks. The funny thing, of course, is that then in PSP2, evil sharks literally came back anywhere. They look more like mutated creatures. They do, yeah. I think of the PSU enemies, these are probably one of the closest things, I guess. There isn't really a whole lot that is similar to sharks. More so than a shark in the middle of a lava field. I'm not reading that because it'll get stuck in my head. And that is the last thing I want stuck in my head. You know that after the stream finishes now, that's going to be stuck in my head now. Yeah, so mine is where the PSO illusion starts to sort of fall apart a bit. So yeah, we've got robots, but not really that familiar to PSO. I mean, I know that these are the Sinnohs. I guess they're meant to be the Sinnohs in mines, but they're not really that similar. Been stuck in your head all month along with other baby songs. At least you have an excuse for it though, Vector. I've just realised actually with this is based on Ultimate Mines, isn't it? Which is odd because Forest is based on regular Forest. You've had PS0's Swamp theme in your head all day. PS0 has some great music. So I'm hoping to get the story for that finished, hopefully in the next week. Just having time to work on it, really. You keeping up with PS0? Yeah, I played it a little bit more. Can't remember what level I am now. I haven't done a great deal since the stream, but yeah, I've played a little bit. Last couple of days though has mainly been sorting stuff out for the channel, so it just kind of feels with minds that they just kind of gave up. Like, what can we put in here? I don't know. Casts. Play it more if you can play online easily. I know on the Discord there was a guide on there how to connect. I think most people have managed to do it, and there has been a couple of people who have had a few issues getting it to connect. Is there a switch in here anywhere? You can probably see the scale thing here actually. Like this room is huge in comparison to PSO. There is literally a switch here. Yeah, so for example, like these big robots here, these are the substitute for Garanzas, which these kind of work, I think. Also, I just want to say, in the next PSP2 episode, there is a section in the last part of the map that has some of those enemies in, and there's one spawn in particular that is just completely unfair. You'll see it when the video goes up. It was a miserable experience. You know where. There's only a couple of them in the entire quest, but yeah, there's one in particular that is, it just feels like the devs were having a really bad day and just decided to put it in one of the worst places possible. Also made harder by the fact that in the final chapter of PSP2, you basically can't restock unless you fail any of the quests, and then you can go back. So by that point in the last chapter, you basically have no heals left. Well, we've got 177, so that's one more level closer. This is a hidden part. It is. That's how you know that emulating PSO, when they start putting the hidden walls in. Yeah, overall, I've been enjoying PS0. I think the only thing I haven't really liked so far is, honestly, some of the boss fights. Illusory Walls, PSO inspired Dark Souls confirmed. This is why I bring a mag to heal in PSP2. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is the option in PSP2, isn't it, of sort of customizing your class so you can add weapons to it with type points. It literally got to a point though where I was basically relying on my NPCs to keep me alive. I'm not going to spoil too much about the last episode, obviously, but yeah, it was not pretty. So I'm going to assume that these Caragouins are maybe meant to represent the Bringers in Ruins. Evil horse people, it checks out. I like how it just transitions to Volop's theme. We've got a Photon booster. I have no idea if that's useful in this, but they were useful in PSO. I'm going to assume it ends in this room, given that everyone's using SUVs and so on. It's been a while since I've done this quest, so I can't remember where it ends. But given the music change as well, I'm assuming this is probably the final room. So yeah, I think for that Wednesday where we're going to do the poll, I'll probably put the poll in Discord. I may also put it up as a community post as well and then just take like the total between them. We'll see. But I'll definitely do it in the Discord. I know one of the games that was on the list that Killian suggested was Final Fantasy VIII as well. For that, I need to think about how the best way of doing that would be, because that would be a lot of streams if I did that. Evil Meteor Shot, that's Dark Meteor. There's another one there. You should place also your games you want to stream also. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of the games that I want to stream at the minute, I know Killian did cover a few of them. Yeah, I mean, the poll, it won't be sort of every other week. Obviously, we'll be doing Phantasy Star every 2 weeks. The stream that's in between those, we'll do some where I do a poll for it, and there'll be some where I pick a game. So it'll be a mixture of both. Vector's gone baby brain. attack you fast because Typhoon's starting to annoy you. Oh, hope things are okay there. Streamer making decisions, I am shooketh. We do occasionally. Alright, we go again. So yeah, main thing I'm trying to accomplish today is just try and get a few levels and just get closer to ultimate. Evolutions Path S4. Oh, so what were these twin swords I got? No idea what it is, but PSP2 music. It is PSP2 music. Again, I can't remember where it plays, but it is definitely PSP2 music. They are weird looking twin servers. Yeah, I know it's nothing in comparison to a Typhoon, but I know I think the weather in the UK is meant to be pretty rough this week as well. Or UK weather anyway. I think we're meant to get quite a bit of snow. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Or the fact that I drive a rear-wheel drive car. Sick to death of snow. Have you actually had any yet? No, but on farming sim it snowed once and remains on the ground all year. Where are you farming, in Siberia or something? I also love the little back and forth that you and Minsk have been having on the Discord. Thanks for the follow, Flare Titan. Yeah, I love the little back and forth you've been having on the Discord. You know, farming simulator, and then Minsk come back with real farming stuff. You've started a new farm on, and excuse me for the pronunciation, Bhutan Pantai, to farm rice instead. Hopefully there's no snow there. Can you actually choose where to locate your farm then? I'm not familiar with the World of Farming Simulator. got a Japanese rice harvesting machine. That sounds fascinating. I think the only sort of simulator game I've played at all really is Euro Truck. I don't remember this quest at all. I think we may have done it on stream potentially, but it does not ring a bell with me at all. It's nice to do some different stuff though, rather than doing the same quest all the time. How's the grind to ultimate anyway? Despite being like 130, you're lost in the sauce of getting your bearings. It does take a while to get used to playing PSU, honestly. It took me a while to get back into it. The grind to ultimate, the main issue with the grind to ultimate is the fact you need to be 190 for ultimate. Now, honestly, I don't find that the leveling is taking that long. A lot of these quests give tons of experience anyway. So the leveling, it's not too slow. I think once you get to 190, it slows right off. But yeah, it is still a bit of a grind though, just because of how many levels you've got to get. This track's from Phantasy Star 4, okay. I know it's a while off yet, but I am really looking forward to doing Phantasy Star 4 at some point. Because pretty much everyone has told me that it's amazing. You wonder why it sounded familiar? I think this version is from PSP 2, but yeah, they probably did just reuse it or remix it. You would probably be level 190 if you weren't lazy. Keep on pressing the wrong buttons to switch weapons all the time. It's the main issue when you play PSP 2 and then play PSU. For some reason, the weapon palette button is switched around. The biggest issue is figuring out what you should be doing gear-wise. Also leads to grinding. Honestly, I think the way I've looked at it, I mean, to be fair, I have been given a lot of stuff as well. Just to be clear. I don't really feel like I've had to sort my gear that much yet. I think once I get to ultimate, then it'll become more of an issue. I've just been kind of running with whatever at the minute, honestly. I have no doubt there probably is a meta, but I imagine a lot of it probably starts when you get to ultimate. Oh, just found a smart link. That's from PSO as well. It looked like it was a material in this though. An auxiliary device developed to boost range capabilities. So I mean, it sounds like it does the same thing as PSO maybe, or something similar. But it looks like it's a material, so I'm assuming it's just an ingredient for a board. Yeah, PSU, it can be a little bit overwhelming when you first start playing, honestly. There is quite a lot going on with it. Particularly once you get to the later stages of the game as well and you start doing all the GAS stuff as well. It does get a little bit overwhelming. It completely threw me when I got reduced to it. I'm just starting to get my head around it now. I will say though, it's still nowhere near as complicated as PSO2's upgrade system. I think you need a degree to understand the PSO2 upgrade system. So I've switched Nanoblast over to the blue one. I've been trying a few of them out, but they have buffed the blue one recently, so it does a bit more damage now. Seems like a pretty good choice now, honestly. So fighting Zolgoog, so it probably won't be much of a fight. I wouldn't have thought. This guy's usually a bit of a cakewalk. Also, I am testing a new camera for this stream. I did show it briefly before, but I've basically been testing it and trying to get it to run properly. It's been a bit of a nightmare so far, so far today it's been behaving itself, I think. I used to use a Razer Kiyo. The problem is, although it's marketed as a 1080p webcam, it's actually only, it's 1080p, but it's only 1080p 30 FPS. So you can only get 60 FPS if you do 720p, which I wasn't really happy with. So I've gone for the Kiyo Pro instead. But it has been quite a buggy camera since I got it. I think I might have finally got to the end of problems with it though, hopefully. Phantasy Star really loves two-tailed dragons. Yeah, there is quite a few actually, isn't there? Come to think of it, yeah, never thought of that. I guess in PSU they're probably just thinking, well, we need to get some use out of this skeleton, so... Because you've got like Duragan, Duragnus, Alteras Goog. This guy, Zolgoog. Is there any more? Is there a Squidward boss in PSU? I don't remember there being one in PSU. There is, like... I can't remember how to describe the boss now. I can't remember if it was like a crab boss or if it was a squid. I can't remember now. But there is one in Infinity, I think. I think that might be a crab though. I honestly can't remember. Yeah, there's a seaside one, isn't there? The really annoying one that sort of grabs hold of the platform that you're on and tilts it. I hate that boss. There is a jellyfish in PSO too, yeah. You're not wrong. Also Dark Falls if you count the odd shape. Yeah, there is that like weird fish Dark Falls in this, isn't there? All we need is SpongeBob and NGS, then we're good. Just on the subject of SpongeBob, apparently, I mean, I don't collect it anymore, but apparently Magic the Gathering is getting a SpongeBob expansion. I don't know how that is a real thing, but yeah, apparently that's happening. That's just wrong. I think they're getting a Final Fantasy one as well, as far as I know. Yeah. But yeah, there's also a SpongeBob one. I haven't collected Magic for years, so I'm well out of the loop now. That's a really hard quest name to say. Illuminous Illusion. Okay, I respect the central control music. I do feel like calling this a jungle is a bit of a stretch, though. PSO2, PSO Ep 2 time, yeah. Let's go fight Olga Floor. Speaking of which, he's also in Infinity. And if you think Olga Floor and PSO is BS, you haven't seen the one in Infinity. Yeah, I saw news about Magic and I just thought that's such a weird collab. I can sort of understand Final Fantasy because, yeah, I get it. You know, you could use things like the summons and things like that. Fair enough. But SpongeBob? Yeah, I don't really play many CCGs now, really. I used to be quite big into them, but got to a point where I just couldn't justify the costs. Magic of Friendship. They should put Phantasy Star in Magic the Gathering. They should. I would get back into Magic if they did a Phantasy Star deck. That's why Master Duel is good. As much as it's free-to-play microtransactions, they're actually a good way to get cards. You were like IRL, so it doesn't bother me. I think I asked this before, but how free-to-play friendly is Master Duel? There is also a Phantasy Star RPG, you know, little collectible card game. Yeah. I think it was based around PSO2, wasn't it? It is near impossible to get the cards now. Pretty free-to-play friendly. If you do online duels, you get the currency. Okay. There is so yeah, for Phantasy Star, so there is a PSO2 trading card game, but it is mainly based on PSO2 as far as I know. There are some PSO cards though, because I've seen them on eBay. I've been very tempted sometimes. The thing is, if I bought it though, I'd just want the PSO cards. Yeah, Master Duel's always sort of interested me. I've never managed to actually get into it, never tried it myself, but I did play quite a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Years ago, so I'm sort of familiar with some of the cards. Probably not so much now. Will you be showing the Monster Hunter board game at some point? Interested in how it works. I will. It's not meant to arrive until about next May, though. You can get the base game board game now, but the one I've gone for is the Iceborne one. It was a Kickstarter quite a while back. I think it was about a year ago or so. I spent a ridiculous amount on it. Because I'm obsessed with Monster Hunter World, I went for the highest pledge. So I think in next May I think it's about 25 monster models arriving. I actually didn't buy all of them because I went for the highest pledge, but then after they did the highest pledge, they then announced more stuff for it, which wasn't included in that pledge, which was a bit scummy. But yeah, there's only a couple of monsters I won't get. It sounds like quite a cool board game. Cool thing as well, it is actually it is balanced as well, so that you can play it with, I think you can play it with up to 4 people, but it is also balanced, so if you want to do like a solo hunt, there is like a mode where you can do a solo hunt against the monster as well. Because from what I understand, I think the monster movement is kind of based on, I'm not going to say it's not AI, but the monster movement is kind of based on cards that follow specific rules depending on what you do. It sounds very complicated. The company that's made it, though, they've made loads of other board games based on games, so I think they were the ones that did the Dark Souls board game as well. I think they're doing an Elden Ring one as well. I think they've also done Devil May Cry. Honestly, though, the main reason I bought it isn't even for the game, it's just to get the miniatures to paint. Because they all come unpainted. Well, seeing as I did Warhammer for years and years and years, I just see it as a big painting project. No idea why this is here, but... Reveal your secrets. And the goggles it? The goggles, they literally do nothing. If you want to play a video game, board game, I play Civ. I honestly, I can't imagine myself getting into Civ. Thick fabric and honey. Sure. Yeah, so this is the area from PSP2 actually, from Infinity, where that weird boss I mentioned earlier spawns. Yeah, I mean, once I get that game though, I think obviously I will show off the miniatures and stuff. But I think I wouldn't mind, honestly, maybe doing some like a stream at some point of me like painting some stuff. I need to figure out exactly how I would do it, because I'd need like an overhead camera for it. I do have a spare webcam I can use, but I think I need to get some gear to actually set up like an overhead so you can see the painting. Paint stream would be chill. In full disclosure, I am not a pro painter by any means, but I did Warhammer for quite a few years, so I kind of know how to do it. Are those turrets unbreakable? It feels like it. Can we decide the colours for the model? Not with the amount I've paid for them. Repaint a Raymal figurine. I do actually have in the cabinet over there. I do actually have a. I can't remember if I showed it before. It's basically a Figma. Well, it's a few Figmas that have been sort of kit bashed together, and then I've tried to make sort of an approximation of my Huniwell based on an artwork that someone did of her. Then you got a special chat piece. I think they do sell some of the models separately as well, so if they sell some of them for a reasonable price, I may buy an extra one of the models and let you do a chat choice one. Or if there's a monster I really don't like, chat won't make it look bad, don't worry. I always wonder why the item drops in PSU are squished vertically. Yeah, I'm not sure, just everything is flat, isn't it? Yeah, I'll try and show you that that figure once I've done this run. It's still not really finished yet, but basically I bought about, I think it was about 3 different Figmas, which are these little, they're basically like action figures that are opposable. I basically bought about 3 of them and then kit bashed them all together. And did some sculpting as well. I used to love the creative side of stuff like Warhammer really, but it's just the main reason I stopped is because I wasn't really playing the actual game anymore, and the price of it was just disgusting. Not that the Monster Hunter game is any cheaper, but I still don't know why Hauser has like weird stretchy limbs. Did he have that on the official servers? I really don't remember. They clearly found something funny. This guy would probably like Battletech and that's cheaper. I think I've heard of Battletech actually, yeah. Why is he so stretchy? I love his laugh when he does those beams. Magashi, I need your help. Stop them. Well, that is a buff Magashi, actually. I'm gonna nano blast. Been talking about Battletech in Discord a bit since you've been playing MechWarrior 5 and talking about the lore. Is Battletech and MechWarrior the same thing then, or are they just similar? MechWarrior is mech pilot and sim game in the Battletech universe. Okay. Interesting choice. That is a name for a weapon. Stinky Geist. I mean, I'm picking it up just for the name. You think you can defeat me that easily is defeated easily. Yeah, I shall defeat you with my stinky Geist. I mean, I guess it's not the only stink weapon in Phantasy Star. You know, you've got stink frame and stink shield, but that's stinky. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out some redeems for Twitch as well. I've been setting up, there's a thing called Tangy I've been setting up at the minute. I'm just trying to decide what redeems to put on it. Oh, Stinky's above Stink, okay. I feel like I just fill my inventory almost immediately in PSU. Need to hydrate. I do. You see, the problem is Twitch has like an activity feed that shows me when people do the redeems, but it doesn't like flash up anything. So it's super easy to miss. It's like a PSR special. You need to take the weapon for a stinkier, guys. For some reason I can't invite you, Drac. Quest bugged, it won't finish. It finished fine for me. Yeah, it invites grayed out for me. This guy's just allergic to hydration. Try to abandon quest. Right, let's try again. That's weird that the quest ends but doesn't disappear from your list. That's super weird. I'm guessing that's a bug. I've sent you a new invite, Drac, by the way. I'll give you the lead back as well because you know a lot more about the PSU quest than I do. I have no idea what each quest involves. Oh, it's just this quest is bugged, okay. Yeah, wait, that's the PS0 dance. It is the PS0 dance. Yeah, PSU was first, yeah, just to clear that up. Although people will deny its existence. I think particularly when PSU released, I think a lot of people wanted to deny its existence. I think for what it's worth, I think PSU's aged quite well. You've been picking quests randomly, that's fine. Honestly, I'm just here to level anyway, so literally any quest is fine. Need to put more time into PSU. There's a problem, there's so many Phantasy Stars. Let's go to New Days. Yeah, that's fine, yeah, we can go there. You barely touch it because you're not really sure what to be doing. Honestly, the way it is on Clementine, I kind of feel you can just hop into whatever you want. I mean, generally when you start out at a really low level, you're probably running stuff on the Guardian's Colony, so probably start off with things like Unsafe Passage. Once you get a few levels though, you can kind of just spread out and go wherever you want to. Being a PSO on GameCube, you couldn't accept PSU. A lot of PSO players at the time couldn't. Yeah, so this before, but for anyone that wasn't around at the time, yeah, PSU was not well received when it launched. If only there was going to be some kind of new player experience to make things sooner. Yeah, if only. Still got no idea when that's going to be. PSU was such a good game, you miss it. Yeah, I mean, I liked PSU at the time. I preferred PSO, but as time has gone on, I think that PSU does hold up remarkably well. When you were playing, you ran into a PSU veteran who was also starting a new character, but you haven't been on in months. Out of curiosity, I mean, how busy the servers at the minute on this? So at the minute there are 64 people online, which isn't too bad really. I would imagine more people are getting a bit later when it's peak time for America. And there's no event on at the minute as well, so I think 64 playing PSU in 2024 isn't too bad. Everyone's favourite BGM. I mentioned this to Drac earlier, but PSU on the Xbox and PS2 felt like a discount PS Portable to you since you started with PS Portable first and then basically retraded the same quests. I was the other way around. I played PSU first before PS Portable, and Portable just felt like, well, I mean, it is just a Portable PSU essentially. I suppose the good thing about PS Portable 1 though is at least it does have its own story, which wasn't too bad from what I remember. That's the thing as well, Vector, yeah, it's always going to depend on what you started with. For me, obviously, I started with PSO, so I'll always have the most funness for that. If you started out with PSU, you're probably going to have much more fun memories of PSU. PSP1 did Detroit become human first, let's be real. It's been ages since I've played through PSP1, but if I remember correctly, I think PSP1 is the story about Vivienne and Helga, isn't it? Vivienne is a cool character and you play as your own character instead of Ethan Ware, but... I always thought the way they did PSU's story was super weird. The fact that episode 1 you have to play as Ethan Weber and it's offline only. And then episode 2 was online only with your own character. And then ep 3 was also online only, as far as I know. Super weird. Also, yeah, forcing you to play as Ethan in the first episode was not a good player. I mean, does anyone actually like Ethan? F2's offline on the PS2 version, okay. He looks strange in PSP too. Yeah, AOTI was its own game plus disc on PS2. Everywhere else is online only. I didn't know that actually. So you could play the story for F2 PSU offline, but only on PS2. So I played on PC at the time, so it's been so long I can't remember. completed it early this year. Okay. And then from what I understand, I think episode 3 of story is basically just not playable now. It's kind of a shame, really, because essentially some of the game's been lost. I don't know what the Guardians were on when they decided that everyone needed prep school uniforms in PSP 2. Yeah, I will admit I'm not really a fan of the Guardians outfits in that game. It's kind of weird as well because in PSU, all the Guardians just kind of wear what they want. Since PS2 didn't have a hard drive by default, there wasn't a way for AOTI to be a DLC realistically. Yeah, I guess so. I know they did sell like a separate hard drive because I remember buying it and then never using it for anything. Still don't know why that boss intro is so loud. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot about that as well. It's just weird that it's the only part of this boss that's really loud. And there's no reason for it at all. None of the other bosses really do it. It's just this boss. You thought your tractor exploded. I'm just adding realism to your farming simulator, that's all. For real though, I've always really liked this boss theme. I do kind of hate that they do seem to have fixed the thing that you could do on Sega PSU, where you could basically, you could kind of get stuck in the back of him here. I don't know if you still can on this or not. I seem to have more trouble doing it now. But you could basically get stuck in the back part of this boss, and then whenever you rotate around, you just stick with him. Oh, there we go. This was basically the way to cheese the boss. I like how he just stared at me ominously for a while. Sir, you do too much damage. Please don't be too loud. That was loud. It's 2 tractors that have exploded now. Map explodes. I know that atomic bomb is at the set, apparently, yeah. Again, I don't know why, it's just on that boss. Directed by Michael Bay. Oh, we got an ancient unsealer. Isn't that for Seal J Sword? I'm sure that's an item you need to unseal Seal J in this. It is, yeah. Thanks, game. Can't get away from that damn sword, I swear to God. SGS hunt begins. No, no. I was happy when SGS wasn't in PSU. The fact I've added it in Clementine. Why would you do this to me? Just wait till private server adds it to PSO2. I know that in PSO2, I know there is a weapon camo for the Tsumakiri J sword. I think you get it from base game PSO2 though. I've seen a few people using it. No, Sakura Blaster, this was an actual Sega quest, this. This is the quest that introduced boomers in PSU. Also, it has the Mizuraki music as well, and I love the Mizuraki music. Boom is in my Phantasy Star, yeah. And Boom was a schmoovin'. Yeah, I've always really liked the Mizuraki theme. Honestly, I think as a whole, PSU soundtrack is... The majority of it is really, really strong. I was about to say, I didn't know we fought Kakwans in this quest, but no, it's Pika in the outfit. I respect it. Don't fight Gokwan in this quest. I still find it funny that the boomers actually fake dead in PSU. It's like they've seen what Rappy's doing and thought, oh, we should do that. This is Shin Megami Tensei you added into your team. P5R needs to be a stream suggestion. So, as someone who has never played a Persona game in their life, how approachable are they? I've heard that Persona 5 is incredibly long. Like, incredibly long. You started with P5R. It's 120 hours long. Yeah, that is quite a few streams. It's so long that you didn't do the R part of P5R. Never played one either, but if you do, you think you can start with P3. You don't complete games on stream anyway. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I mean, I guess some of the games that we played on stream don't really lend themselves to being played for one stream. Stuff like Front Mission. I know when I played Front Mission, that was mainly just to show it off because it's an old game probably a lot of people haven't heard of. If you want to see me complete a game though, last episode of PSP2 goes up tomorrow. P3 is the best. Touche. Because they recently launched that is it Metaphor Refantasio as well? It seemed to get really good reviews. I've never tried it. Seem to be getting pretty good reviews overall though, so... And am I right in thinking that Metaphor is not linked to Persona, it just happens to look similar? It's not, fair enough. Never buy an Atlas game until after a few years when they re-release it at full price with extra content though, and not as DLC. I mean, Sega seem to be like knocking it out of the park a bit lately with some of the releases, honestly. I know Metaphor is technically Atlas, but I mean, Sega and Atlas are basically together anyway, aren't they? Obviously, there's the new Yakuza game coming out. I know that was meant to be released at the same time as Monster Hunter Wilds, but I can't remember if they've changed the release date for it to avoid it. I have a feeling they changed the release date. Or another game would change the release date to avoid Wilds. I can't remember which game it was though. Not that it matters, because essentially anything that releases in February probably isn't getting played, because Wilds is just going to consume my life. I still need to decide what to do with Wilds, really, because part of me just wants to play through it immediately, but part of me also wants to play through the story on stream. But if I do that, I can only do it once or twice a week, which then prevents me from playing Wilds. You'll see if you get addicted to Wilds in February. I think it has a very good chance of hooking me in for sure, if the beta was anything to go by. I just hope they change Insect Glaive. Yeah, Stream Bomb, we're all HR1, Stream 2, Sky's MR200, and we're all HR2. I think the other thing I'm concerned about is that if I hold off on playing it, there's a real risk of me getting spoiled. You know, final boss spoilers and things like that, it's super easy to get spoiled with these games. Yeah, there'll be no G rank with Wilds as far as I know. Yeah, if it's anything like previous games, it'll probably just be low rank and high rank, I would have thought. I know when World released, I did get spoiled on the final boss pretty much immediately. I really don't want that to happen again for a while, so... You probably play the story and then grind when the DLC comes out. I mean, obviously the other way of doing it is for me to have one character play off stream and just go through the story and then do another character for the stream. So I'm still going through the story, but I've got a while to think about how to do it anyway, so... There's no such thing as spoilers in Monster Hunter. Spoiler will let you hunt monsters. I mean, you're not wrong. But also, part of the fun for me with playing for the first time is discovering what some of the late game monsters are. I also don't really want to see how any of the monsters fight. I mean, obviously the ones in the beta test, I don't mind because they're pretty early game anyway. But particularly the later game stuff, I really don't want to see how the monsters fight, just so I go in kind of blind. Spoiler alert, bigger monsters. Again, not exactly wrong. That is the dead end. Final boss has Eschaton Judgment. Alatreon's fun. While the final boss is the Palico talking to you endlessly in English regardless of your settings. It still doesn't sound right to me with the cat talking. The first thing I did in the demo, more or less, was to change the cat to just meow. Yeah, have you beaten either Sunbreak or Iceborne Kilniath? Haven't even gotten to Sunbreak. For what it's worth, I think Sunbreak is really, really good. I do actually like the story bit in Sunbreak as well. There's one quest in particular, I'm not going to go into the details because if you ever plan on doing it, it would spoil it. But people who have played Sunbreak will know which one I'm on about. There's one quest near the end of the game that is completely different to every other quest you've done. It's one of the coolest moments I've done in a Monster Hunter game, honestly. The only issue I've got with Sunbreak, really, is I don't think the end game was done very well, as in what you do after the story. You essentially just grind anomaly monsters, which for all intents and purposes is whack-a-mole in Monster Hunter. You basically attack a monster until part of it glows red, and then hit the glowing part. Which I guess, honestly, is kind of what we're doing in Wilds as well with Focus Mode, but at least you can choose where the glowing bits are now. Got a slash U Partisan, oh nice one. Yeah, basically the way the anomaly monsters worked in Sunbreak was every now and again they would start glowing and you basically had to destroy all the glowing parts, and if you didn't destroy them in time they would do like a big AoE nuke. Apart from that, they were just basically harder versions of the normal monsters. And the entire endgame of Sunbreak was just fight these. You haven't completed a single monster run again. Iceborne's worth doing as well, just for the end, honestly. Yeah, the end couple of fights in Iceborne are brutal, but are really cool. You've only touched the 4U demo on 3DS and the original PS2. And to be fair, I don't have much experience with Monster Hunter. I've only really played a lot of like World, Iceborne, Rise, Sunbreak. A little bit of GU, that's about it. I think it's said before that the egg quest made you stop playing the original PS2. I don't blame you. Yeah, the egg quests can be pretty rough sometimes. I do have them in games like World as well, but the ones in World are a lot more lenient. Just goes back to City that way, fair enough. There's no other missions here. It's kind of weird that, isn't it, that they've got a lobby that there's just no missions here. World Egg quests are a lovely jaunt compared to the old games. Yeah, the ones in World are really easy, which I appreciate. Oh, there's one mission just takes you back to Otaku City. Okay. This guy should try the older Monster Hunter and probably never touch it again. I've seen a lot of the older Monster Hunter games. I've never tried any of the really old ones. I'm talking like the ones that where you use the analog sticks to attack. 3D Midnight stream for real. You can still play 3D Midnight multiplayer easily. Where were we going? Was it Habarao Forbidden District, was it? Come to Habarao. I want to show the cute frogs. Okay. Apparently I can't go there, so I must need special flight. Do we have an NPC that can fly me from here, or do I need to... No, I probably need to go back. Did you really not go back to Otaku City with me? That seems really odd. That's super weird. Guess I'll go from one of the cubes then. Any PSP games easy multiplayer because you just use 0 tier 1 or some other thing to make it think your local of Wi-Fi. Okay. You thought it said Otaku City. I mean, it kind of is. This next lobby is Otaku City, not gonna lie. I think I remember this lobby actually. Don't mind playing some classic Monster Hunter again. That's maybe something we can do on a stream then at some point. Yeah, I do remember this lobby. We went wrong about cute frogs. Wow. Are they frogs? There's something, alright. Yeah. Frogs. History of Monster Hunter Before Wilds. Like one of Monster Hunter lore videos. That's 1% of their jumping power. They're barely bent the knees. There's another one over here as well. Look at him go. And there's some down here as well. Like, there's just like a weird hut here. Is that his house? Yeah, they're evolving. Yeah, I do remember this lobby actually from the Sega servers. Yeah, I think you're right, Victor. I think the frogs built it. They have farms too. Have they been busy? I have to say I don't remember this on the Sega servers, but I could be wrong. PSU inspired Animal Crossing. probably killing the Ather farm there. You need to mod a PSO or PSU map into Farming Simulator. So you can go and round up the rappies. Speaking of mods, you saw the Left 4 Dead mod for PSO. That is amazing. I think the funniest thing about that Left 4 Dead mod is the fact that some of the enemies are just like Pioneer 2 NPCs. I need to play that on stream too. I think that's more of like a Halloween game. We kind of missed the boat for it. Mark that down for next Halloween. This goes back to Sagaraki as well. Well, once we get there, we can go somewhere else if we need to. I like how the doctor killed Eleanor. April Fool's is another option, yeah. This is going to get so confusing because I'm sure this is the area where those green frogs spawn. What I'm saying is I'm probably going to end up attacking Pika quite a lot. Don't peek here, peek it. I'll try not to. April Fool's saying grinds and ruins for airdrops. No, it's Left 4 Dead instead. Say streaming April 1st and never show up. I mean, it partially depends on what day it's on. I need to decide actually what to do for like a stream around Christmas. Obviously, I will not be streaming on Christmas. I can't remember what day Christmas falls on this year. I think it's a Wednesday, I think. Could be wrong. But we may just take that week off from streaming. Not streaming on Christmas Day is shocking. Now, I know it's hard to believe, but apparently I have a life outside of Phantasy Star. Not much of one, admittedly, but April 1st is a Tuesday. We might make an exception for that week and maybe do Tuesday stream instead of a Wednesday. Bet you're not doing a midnight New Year stream either. You don't have a life outside of this chat and Discord. Do you think you'd live in PSO? That was a good question, isn't it? Like, if you could live in, like, in a game world, which game would you pick? Probably not PSO. You just wouldn't want to be a Pioneer 1 person. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm gonna be living in PSO, just maybe like some random NPC on Pioneer 2 that is completely inconsequential. I'm fine with that. Maybe not the dude who's got a weapon fetish though. Those of you who've seen today's PSO video know what I mean. If you could live in a game world, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, hands down. You can work at the medical clinic as a secretary. I mean, I guess comparing to what I actually do, I guess like working in the medical center is probably the closest thing, yeah. Not as a secretary though. I do work with secretaries, but I'm not a secretary. Although really, in PSO, would you really want to work in the medical center? You know, when yet another hunter gets, you know, brought in after dealing with Dark Falls or Tower. I work with secretaries, not in the way that you're thinking. What do you do? So basically we use like it's a quality management system that we use in a hospital, and I basically look after it. So my role is actually more of like an IT role, which is where I'm based. I happen to be based in a secretary's office, mainly because it's the only place I could find in the hospital for me to go. It was kind of weird. I started the job and they were like, so we actually don't have a desk for you, so yeah. So right, well, this is a good start. It's always humors. So I make sure the equipment won't kill people. I make sure there are safeguards in place so that they don't. However, I am also not responsible for it. I am merely responsible for making sure that the safety stuff is available to people. This guy's basically the IT crowd in the hospital. Not far off. If you piss them off, it might kill people. I would imagine that I probably wouldn't have a job too long if that happened. It's kind of weird. I basically didn't train in this at all. I just kind of ended up there. What do we know? We don't even know what the equipment does there. Well, I mean, I work in basically in X-ray. So it's all like the X-ray machines and the CT scanners and MRI scanners. Time for killing. I have to find a hospital simulator. I remember playing Theme Hospital years and years ago, which probably does age me quite a bit. Yeah, the newer one, isn't it? Is it 2 Point Hospital, I think it is? Which is essentially spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. Are we lost? I'm sure 2 Point just launched a new game recently, but I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember if it is the hospital one or if it's something else. Yeah, it might be Campus, yeah, that rings a bell actually. I guess you're kind of like Ellie person. Maybe, but maybe without the weird attraction to machines. A rapid jump scare there. I will never get over how creepy these rappies are in PSU. Yeah, exactly, yeah. There is a rare one as well, isn't there? There's like a pink one. Seem to remember. Leave them alone, they're adorable. I disagree on these. I do not find these adorable. There's a giant rappy you can get in PSO2 and NGS as well. One of the ones that spawns in NGS is huge. It's like 5 times the size of your character. He did just fly away. I don't know how the physics on that work. We got A rank there. We must have missed some enemies. Yeah, it must just be strong wings, I'm guessing, yeah. Still find it hilarious that we got an item for Seal J Sword. Could only happen to me. Alright, where are we going back to now? Big Rappies are a suitable hunt for Monster Hunter characters. They are. Going to Agatha. See if I have Agatha's lobby. In 40 years, you'll find both SGS. Dinner should invest on craft. That's one thing I really need to do in PSU. I really need to finish my partner machine. Did you see that person that found a max stat red ring in PSO? I did. Do we know what happened with that? Did they auction it off or did they keep it? I'm assuming you'd probably just keep it. I mean, I dread to think how much that's worth. I still want to know what happened with the guy who found the 100 hit caliber as well. I know he had an auction up for it, but the amount they were asking for it was obscene. Probably enough to buy the entirety of Pioneer 2 and then some. You want to do Sinner's Banquet? Yeah, I think the 100 hit caliber, I think the reserve for it was about 6,000 paydays. I think I know why you want to do this. Oh god, I'm flashbacks. Yeah, so this should be very familiar to anyone who's been watching the PSP2 playthrough. Thought I capped at 999. So on Affinia, there's an item you can get called a Photon Horde. And basically what you do is you give 99 Photon drops and they'll turn it into 1 Photon Horde. And then you can stack up to, I think you can stack up to 99 Photon Hordes, but you can then turn them back into Photon drops at any time. So it's basically a way of stacking Photon drops beyond 99. Yeah, I'm glad this map is in. I do really like the Otori Castle map, the exterior and the interior maps. Thankfully, so far the enemies here don't seem as bad as PSP2. If you haven't seen PSP2, essentially this part is just full of really nasty PSO enemies, like Ilgils, Delbiters, Belras. Most of which are capable of either 1 or 2 shotting you. I've also liked the music here as well. Again, that's why the last chapter of PSP2 is so hard, just because you go through all this, use loads of your mates in this part, then you have a horrible boss fight in the second part, and then the final boss straight after. So you basically get to the final boss and go, ah, I've got no mates. Weird looking dogs. Act 2 boss is brutal if you're not prepared for it. It really is. Thankfully, I played through PSP2 before, so I could kind of remember the strat for it, but it is still quite a nasty boss. I've never been more glad to have traps for it. The final boss though, I think the final boss first phase it's a bit irritating, but it's not too bad. But the final phase of it is awful. I love the fight, but it is so difficult. Doesn't help that you're massively underleveled as well when you get there. You can cheese. Yeah, I can't remember the cheese strat. I know that when I played it on PSP2, I know the way I took care of the Act 2 boss, without spoiling anything, was basically just to stand in the middle of the room and spam the X-traps with Vanguard. Because Vanguard was kind of busted in PSP2. That's one of the reasons, honestly, that I didn't play Vanguard for this playthrough, because I wanted to see what the game was like playing as a different class. I have played it quite a bit in Infinity with classes like Force. I'd never really played Ranger much, so I wanted to try it. As it turns out, if you're going through the story of PSP2, don't pick Ranger for your first character. Because it feels like half the enemies in the game are bullet resistant. However, the flip side is that the shotgun charge shot is ridiculously overpowered. Yeah, I remember fighting the final boss quite a lot in Infinity as well, on the Infinity missions that you could make. And fighting like a level 200 and something version of the final boss was always fun. I did mention it in the video that's going live tomorrow for members, but for anyone wondering when Infinity is going to be, I will be doing a playthrough of Infinity at some point, but it will be quite a while. I want to focus on some other games first before I go back to Infinity. Don't remind me of eye missions. I think the Infinity missions idea, yeah, Kilniath. So basically in PSP2 Infinity, there is a thing called Infinity missions, and you can essentially create missions. You basically unlock different, so you can do things like you can change the boss that appears in the mission, you can adjust the rough level range of the enemies and the area it's in. There is some RNG to it though, like getting the right items to be able to create the right missions, but you can basically create missions that are custom. It's a really, really cool idea. Yeah, they also give unique drops as well. I've got a rare mission, if anyone wants to do it. But yeah, Infinity was a really cool game. It brought a lot of really unique stuff into it as well. There is also the rebirth system, which I can't remember if that was added in PSP2 or PSP2 Infinity. I want to say it was Infinity, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I think I was missing this lobby as well, actually. It's Infinity, fair enough. Yeah, so the rebirth system basically let you de-level your character back to level 1. And to do basically the benefit of that would be you would get a little stat boost. So you could just keep doing that and essentially re-level your character again. And you'd be a bit stronger, and you could just keep doing that. You'd also get points and things to add customizations to your class as well, which is cool. Really, really cool game, Infinity. There's a lot to do. Let's do White Beast. Well, Jack, I've got a rare mission as well if you want to do that as well. Yeah, I got a rare mission flag on the last one, so is there any particular you want to do? We can choose a planet instead of doing the rare mission on Colony. I'm trying to remember which rare missions are on which planet now. I think, is Param... I'm trying to remember now. I think, is Mortube Forest? So obviously we're not going to do that because Cease Forest, obviously. Time to check if you'd installed it on your PSP. Don't get more distracted by more games. Yeah, I can't remember which planets are tied to which rare missions now. Mortube is Forest, okay. So we're not doing Mortube then. I'm pretty sure... I think Guardian's Colony is Ruins, isn't it? I think. Yeah. Param Mines, Mortube Forest, New Days, Caves, HQ is Ruins, okay. PSP2 Infinity is installed. Oh. Well, is there any of those rare missions you'd rather do? I'm down to do any of them, so... I don't know if any of them are better than others. Maybe Ruins is best. It's more walking on the others. I mean, I'm happy to do Ruins if you want to do that. Yeah, we literally saw all the PSO areas at the start of the stream anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much which one we do. I'm down to do Ruins if you want. Fifth floor then, yeah. Fair enough. Discovered how to convert any PS1 game to run on a PSP the other day. Oh, cool. I've still got my PS1 somewhere. Alright, Ruins S4. This should be a good experience at least. I've still got my PSP as well. It doesn't work particularly well. The battery basically just drains really quickly. I more have to have it plugged in to be able to play it. Just on that, I imagine some people are already aware of this, but if you do have a PSP, check the battery on it. I think I might have mentioned this on stream before, but make sure you check the battery on PSP if you got one. They are renowned for warping and sort of expanding, so make sure your battery is okay. Yeah, basically the batteries, it's actually noticeable when you take the battery out. You'll see the battery will actually bulge, but it actually deforms the battery. So I would recommend, if you can get a new battery, it's probably worth doing, just to be safe. I don't really know why it does it. I don't know if it's just a fault with the type of battery they use or something. Meanwhile, DS survives a nuke. DS is made of Nokia. Yeah, I'll do it eventually. It's just weird that it seems to be mainly the PSP that does it though. Oh, you got a Dreamcast, a nice one. Yeah, honestly, my PSP, I barely used it. I pretty much use it for, well, PSP, PSP2, Infinity. I think I played a bit of Front Mission 3 on it as well because you could get it on PSP as well. And not much else. Just be thankful Sony didn't source batteries from Samsung's supplier for the PSP. And I've never had any problem with Samsung batteries, you know, exploding or catching fire, but I will say the few Samsung phones I've had, the batteries have gone bad really quickly on them. At least it didn't explode. I think I need to change the battery in my Dreamcast at some point as well, because I've noticed that every time I'm turning it on, the time's reset on it, so I'm assuming the CMOS battery's gone on it. Apparently Microsoft is making a portable next. We need to give PSU Clementine a go. Have the installer, she's very proficient in procrastination. It is pretty easy to get started in PSU, honestly. It's designed at the minute so you will level pretty quickly, so it is quite accessible for the most part. Late game, it does get a bit more confusing. There is a bit more to keep track of, but it is quite new player friendly, I think, at the minute. The only downside with Clementine is it doesn't really tell you kind of where to go. It kind of just leaves that up to you to decide. Now I've got a Dreamcast as well. I think it's a room decoration in this. Microsoft better be careful that Nintendo doesn't decide to patent portable gaming. At this point, nothing would surprise me. Hey, we've got the dancing guys again. I love these guys. Just purely because they dance when they spawn. Hey, there you go. It'll never cease to amuse me, that. There were a ton of experience though. I had a Dreamcast, but since you don't have access to soldering tools, not anyone willing to do so, you couldn't replace the BIOS battery. What was Sega thinking, soldering the battery directly to the board? It's the Ruins experience, that. Yeah, much nicer when we don't have to deal with all that poison. Nintendo did the same thing with the CMOS battery on the GameCube. You had to solder yours. I mean, I guess when they always have the stickers all over the consoles, don't they, saying that like the warranty is voided and everything if you open it. So I guess when they were designed, maybe they thought we don't really want you opening up. But you know, now several years after all the warranties have expired, it's quite nice to be able to open it up and change things. The Saturn had its battery accessible and easy to change. It's strange that they changed it then from the Saturn to the Dreamcast. I never had a Sega Saturn, so I'm not really familiar with it. Give me leads. Yeah, no worries. GameCube is pretty easy to open up in mod. When the flippy drive releases, I'll be getting an installing one. Am I right in thinking that you need some kind of like special tool to open the GameCube? Because I know quite often with Nintendo, they tend to have like weird, you know, sort of weird fixings to open them up. Yes, I do have runes, so I can do my runes run now if you want. So we get more experience. A few of them are security balls, but you have a screwdriver set with all of them. Okay. Alright, we go again. Yeah, no, tried changing the battery on the Dreamcast. I have adjusted the laser a bit on it because I seem to be having more and more problems with my Dreamcast reading discs. Thankfully, the potentiometer on the laser is actually really easy to adjust on the Dreamcast, so cease ruins. Yeah, the experience here is kind of insane when you use experience tickets, because it's already 500% experience anyway. I'm wondering, like, on the subject of Nintendo, I am wondering when they're actually going to announce a Switch 2. It seems to be just taking a while to actually announce it. We all know it's coming, so... They're too busy suing everyone. Yeah, I mean, again, you're not wrong. Wouldn't be surprised if the Switch 2 uses the same underlying stuff as Switch 1. And that's why they're soon on the emulators, because the Switch 2 will be day 1 hackable. Am I right in thinking that they've said that the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with the Switch? Oh, cool, we got the not all Del Sabers. For some reason they renamed them in this to Delnadians. I got a Donoff Soul from that. They'll be backwards compatible. Ah, cool. I wish more consoles were backwards compatible, honestly. I'm just waiting for the Switch 2 release and just be impossible to get hold of at first, like they always are. I remember when I tried to get a Switch in the first place, it was like during the middle of the pandemic, and trying to get hold of a Switch when everyone was like, working from home and playing Switch. I think it was around the same time Animal Crossing released, and everyone was just playing Animal Crossing during the pandemic, and it was impossible to get hold of a Switch. Animal Crossing profited from COVID massively. Tom Nook rubbing his great little paws. It's actually the first time I played Animal Crossing. I've never tried one before, but everyone seemed to be playing it, so I thought I'll give it a shot. And it was good for, I would say, for maybe a couple of months. I probably stuck out. After a while, it just got a bit repetitive for me. We deleted them. Yeah, I do agree though. I think hug the wall. Okay. I think the Animal Crossing, I think you're right, it did definitely benefit a lot from coming out during the pandemic. Yeah, like how you said hug the wall and Pika still got hit by one. As soon as it starts feeling like a job, you stop playing. He says playing Farming Simulator. I mean, I had fun with Animal Crossing, but yeah, like when you get to a point where, you know, when you filled your island and you've got like the max amount of villagers, it just kind of become a bit of a chore, honestly. Also, making sure you go on every week to check the price of turnips, it became an obsession. Yeah, that was a really good experience. Yeah, I mean, I'm at 180 now. What was I about? I think it was 175 or 176 at the start of the stream, so 4 levels isn't bad, and I'm not far off 181. You just picked up episode 3 and watched a video trying to figure out what's going on. Strange game, but you're starting to understand it. Ep 3, yeah, PSU Ep 3 does take a while to get used to how it works. I suppose the easiest way to remember it is that if you're playing the hunter side, you're basically using your gear to protect your character. because they prevent you generally from taking direct damage apart from a few cards. But with the arcs, you basically need to use the creatures to defend your player character. So you kind of play them both differently. It does take some getting used to though, for sure. Wicked Invasion. Yeah, I'm down to do Wicked Invasion if you want. Is 180 you can do ultimate? I think it's 190 for Clem. You wish you could have gotten into PSU? I think... How come we didn't get into it? Was it just that you weren't playing it at the time, or did you just not enjoy it when you tried, or... It's 160 for S4, 190 for ultimate, okay. Well, at least we can do S4. S4 is Sega's ultimate, ultimate is kind of PSU anguish. So more than a few turners for you. The biggest one last played was limited PA slots. That is one issue I do have with the game, yeah. It is a bit of a pain that you can only learn, I think, is it 36? It's either 32 or 36 PAs. Big fan. I mean, we've done a lot of new days this stream. So do you want to do either Param or Motube? Param, sounds good. Which is 32. 36 on Clementine at least, so they could have increased it, I don't know. But I mean, even 36 isn't that many when there's so many Fortnites in the game. I will say though that I do feel that PSU has aged well. I think back when it released, a lot of people really didn't like it. I've said this a few times, but it was really unpopular when it released. I think now it is more fun because I think a lot of people who are playing it now are looking back on it with a bit of nostalgia, so there's less people kind of taking it seriously, I guess. Yeah, exactly, yeah, you have 6 PAs per gun for all the different elements. Can you return PAs you're not using to their discs and preserve their level? I honestly can't remember. I'm pretty sure you can turn them back to discs, but I can't remember if it preserves the level or not. I would assume it probably does. You can, yeah. And you should. Playing Hunter, one question I have. Is it worth spending your action points to move? I always seem to get surrounded, but the AI seems to run to me. So I just attack the Arcs NPC and win. I think, particularly near the beginning of the game, you will find that the NPCs are a bit dumb, honestly. You will find that quite often they will just run at you and you kill them really easily. Later on, when the NPCs start to be a bit more difficult, you will want to move around. But it's balancing that. And the last thing you want to do is obviously move around too much and then have no AP left to attack. Sometimes it is worth using all your AP to move, so you know, if you're on really low health and you need to protect yourself for a turn, sometimes it's worth it just to run away. It depends a lot on the situation, really. But yeah, a lot of Ep3's tactics is about deciding how much AP to use on moving, how much to use on attacking. You know, what defense cards to use when. It does take some getting used to, for sure. Pretty early into the game. With the type level ups, my stats should be way higher from the start of the stream. Yeah, I haven't really kept an eye on my overall stats, honestly. I can tell that my health is a lot higher than it was, for sure. I've gained a few hundred health since the start of the stream. Find yourself enjoying PSP 2 but not PSU. I can understand that, honestly. I mean, PSP 2, to all intents and purposes, is kind of, I guess it is like the apex of all of the Graal system games, so it has a lot of good quality of life in it. So I can fully understand liking PSP2 and not liking PSU. On this server, they have tried to... They've messed with the game a little bit, so there is some elements of this that play a little bit more like PSP2. It is still fundamentally PSU at its core, but they have tried to fix like some of the issues with the game. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying Ep3, Nick. Like I say, it can take a bit of getting used to how it plays. The story's really, really cool though if you stick it out. And obviously you've got two different stories to do as well, so you have the hero side and the dark side story. I mean, I think one of the big improvements with PSP2, honestly, is the fact you can evade or guard. You know, having no real sort of evasion in PSU does take a while to get used to. You essentially just try and maneuver out the way of attacks quite often. And having the dodge roll in PSP2 is huge. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Yeah, so it is a direct sequel. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, even PS0 has the dodge roll, doesn't it? Yeah, Nick, honestly, the story in Ep3 is really, really strong. It does get a bit weird towards the end. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it because you've been through it, but it does get a little bit weird, but it is kind of cool that it kind of ties off the PSO story. And it's just good that it kind of explains what happens kind of between PSO and Ep3 as well. You know, a lot of things happen, particularly with Pioneer 2, so it's quite cool, really. Yeah, I think Zero did introduce the dodge roll. I think Zero was first and then PSP2 was a little bit later. I think we talked about that actually on the Zero stream that we did. For anyone that enjoyed the Zero stream, I do plan on maybe streaming it a bit more as well. Now that I've actually found a weapon I like using. Are we going to get a PSO 3 lore playthrough? I am going to do it. The way that I'm going to do it though is going to be a bit different, so... Obviously with Ep1, 2 and Ep4, I basically just ran through the story and done it that way. With Ep3, it's a lot of work to do that because the story is quite long and there are 2 full stories to do with branching side paths. So I think what I'm going to do for that is I do have kind of it's like a timeline breakdown of what happens for Ep3. So I'm basically going to go through that and sort of like explain what happens during Episode 3. Just because the nature of the game, it is very hard to actually do a lore playthrough in the same way. There's also the fact of the matter that Episode 3, it's really, really hard. And relies a lot on you having very good cards towards the end. Which I have on GameCube, but the GameCube would look terrible if I try streaming that without an HDMI adapter for it. And the emulated version, I had basically, well, very little cards. But yes, I do plan on doing an Ep3 story sort of overview at some point. Another reason I didn't particularly like PSU was that the range weapons didn't feel fun. Just stand and spam attack until you run out of ammo. Yeah, I never thought about that. I suppose in PSP2 they did improve the range weapons quite a bit. I mean, you do find that I think in PSP2 you do find that you do just kind of spam the charge shot a lot, particularly on range with shotgun. If you've watched my PSP2 playthrough, you'll know how much I spam the shotgun charge. It's basically all I do. Nice try, Dragon. How would you grind for cards in episode 3 just playing story? So, I'm trying to remember now. I think when you do story quests, I think you will get cards after doing some of the quests. But you can also, there is a free battle mode as well. So you can do a free battle mode offline, where you can just pick your deck, pick a NPC deck to go against, and that's another way you can farm cards as well. The cards carry over to story as well. One of the reasons you didn't use range in PSP2 had more to do with how the AI acted in the actual gameplay, just standing next to you. Yeah, sometimes when you use range weapons, they just stay at range, don't they? They don't actually go anywhere near the enemies. You do get packs from free battle. And the amount of cards you get just depends on the rank you get. I should point out that there is, particularly if you are playing in later versions, there is a patch you can get that increases the amount of cards you get as well. But if you want the sort of the vanilla experience of it, then the amount of cards you get will depend on your rank at the end of a match. What a lot of people used to do is, once you had some decent cards, you could basically just do essentially a 2-player match, but just control both players, because you could do 2 players to 1 controller. And all you would do is you'd have basically one deck that you'd just continually beat. You could get it where you could basically, with certain cards, you could end the battle within like 1 or 2 turns. And you just do that and farm S ranks to get cards. It's a very boring way of doing it, but it is one way you can farm cards. They've got more weapons for me on PSE, Rodrak. Oh, cool. I'm like way lower level than you now, but yeah, we will play it again for sure. I think one thing I like about Ep3 as well is the fact that you do still have the sort of element of PSO where you chase rares, because there are some cards that are really hard to get. The daggers I gave you have the longest range PA in the game. Yeah, I mean, I've been really enjoying the daggers, honestly. They're really fun. Are we all down to maybe do just maybe one more Wicked Invasion just to end it? Need food next, yeah, no worries. Do your Clem camps. What is your class called? This is... I should preface I am not playing this class properly. This class is Acromaster. It's predominantly... It's kind of a mix between melee and tech with like faster attack speed. At the moment, I haven't leveled a lot of the techs on this, so I'm playing it more similar to Acrofighter. Once I've got techs leveled, though, I will start using techs more as well. I use a lot of single-handed weapons as well. I've just realised that Iska Seal, it's with this is called DeWalt, and they're in yellow and black. That's such a good name. Yeah, so the transformation, Nick. So in PSU, well, I should we face this. So on Sega PSU, Beasts, which is what I'm playing at the moment, and Casts have like a special ability that they can use once they've done so much damage or taken damage. Casts have a thing called an SUV weapon, which is where they basically hold on a huge gun. And Beasts have a thing called Nano Blast, where you transform and get a lot stronger for a bit. In Clementine, they've added the ability for other races to use it as well, which is also a thing in PSP2 as well. So humans and humans get a thing called Mirage Blasts, which are quite similar to SUV weapons in the way they work. It's basically just an ability that you get once you've taken enough damage and done enough damage. Might be hard to see, but if you look to the left just under my health here, I know it's a really small UI, but there is a gauge right at the bottom of it that fills up, and when that glows blue, that's when I can transform. Sega PSU Japan added Mirage Blast. I did not know that. Certainly never happened in the Western version. Man, the Western version of PSU never even got to the level cap, so... Yeah, it is pretty cool. It gives the classes a bit, well, the races a bit of individuality. It was Japan only because that was supported more, because Sega hates Westerners. I mean, to be honest, I think it goes both ways. I mean, if you look at the PSO2 Reddit, the amount of people, the amount of negativity on the PSO2 Reddit, my god. Yeah, I'm not sure about GS. Like I said, I don't remember GS being on the Western version, but I could be wrong. Can't imagine what Sega was thinking when they didn't give all races a pseudo limit break attack. It was very weird on the Sega servers, on the Western ones, that humans and humans just didn't have a racial ability. I guess Newman's racial ability was just you're good at doing techs, which isn't quite as good. But yeah, it's a really weird decision. Yeah, so I might be able to see now that at the bottom left of the screen, you can see that sort of glowing part on my health, just under my health gauge. So that's telling me that the Nano Blast's ready. For the SUVs and the Nano Blast as well, there are different forms. So for the Beast one, for example, there's one that makes you do loads of damage. There's one that increases your evade by loads and makes you run faster. The one I'm using makes me temporarily invincible and also gives me a small damage boost. There is one that increases your defense as well, but I don't think anyone actually uses that. Maybe late game it might have some use, but... SUV weapons have loads of different versions. There's ones that fire Gatling guns, there's ones that fire lasers, missiles, there's ones that call down orbital strikes. The only one used in PSP2 was the Twins equivalent. I think in the PSP2 playthrough, I mean, I used the laser one to start with for SUV. And then as soon as I unlocked Parody Cataract, which is the orbital strike one, I just use that constantly. You choose the Gatling. Yeah, the Gatling's pretty cool. There's a couple of versions of those as well, so there's ones that work differently. So one of the Gatling ones will come down and will just shoot straight forward. So it's really good for like concentrated damage. And there's another Gatling one that sweeps as well. So that was the missile launcher one there. Phantasy used the Eureka 7 board. Yeah, there is one where you basically surf on a board as well. Is there one that shoots rappies? Not that I remember, but I know some of the Mirage Blasts. I know there is one that drops like a huge mushroom. I think that has a chance to drop like a huge weight on them as well. I think it's like a random chance it drops something else. I can't remember which one that is now. But I know there's one that has like a random chance to drop. Like a huge weight on them. Yeah, there is a grenade launcher that launches rappies, yeah. You want that now. It's really funny. It is literally just a huge barrel with a rappy head sticking out the end of it. Yeah, it could also throw a junk as well, yeah. There's like a random chance of it. You get like a really heavy weight that would just do tons of damage, or there was like a chance of getting a tiny weight that did almost nothing. Kind of reminds me a bit of Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy VIII. Where there's like a random chance of doing different attacks. Yeah, that's the orbital strike one. It's one reason I do like PSU though, because it did introduce a lot of cool stuff. You know, PSU was the first one to introduce these kind of things like the SUVs and the nanoblasts. Kind of a shame that the Beast never came back outside of the Goral games, really. I see your FF8 Gilgamesh and raise you FF7K at Sith. Also a good option, yeah. Just started FF8 run, last one was like 10 years ago. I tend to play it again every few years, yeah. 8's always been my favourite Final Fantasy. I know not a lot of people would agree with that, but I've always really liked 8. With its weird balance and all sorts in it, but I find it fun. Oh, more robots. That one quite loud, but not as offensive as the old one. However, this guy at level, what? 200? I'm gonna nanoblast. Because I'm not getting hit by him. Yeah, he is easier on PSP too. Yeah, in PSU at higher level, he is quite hard. Wish there were more looter style games like PSO and PSU, non-top down looter action. There's not that many really, is there now? Oh yeah, Nick, I absolutely love Triple Triad. The one thing I've never liked about this boss is this shield. It seems to last forever. I don't actually know if there's a way of getting rid of the shield, or if you just have to kind of deal with it. Yeah, I think the shield just goes down after a while. There's also environmental hazards as well. There's those like vents in the ground that hurt you. I'm trying to hit his arms really if I can, just because the longer we get the bottom part on him, the better, but it tends to fall off pretty quickly. Unfortunately, when the bottom part falls off, it becomes really hard to actually melee him. There we go, the bottoms fell off now. Yes, the downside with this guy is that when the bottom falls off, he gets like blades on the bottom half of him that hurt you if you touch him. It also becomes a point where you can basically just attack his arms and that's about it. Yeah, I think he's doing no damage because he's got the shield up at the minute. He hit this boss. Yeah, he's definitely one of the harder bosses in PSU, I think. Has this annoying habit of teleporting all the time as well. Only other game that taps into that is Monster Hunter. Yeah, I am planning on doing some Monster Hunter content, because I do play some of the Monster Hunter games as well. The shield's lasting forever. But I agree that I think Monster Hunter is probably, I would say maybe the next closest thing. Because even like the current Phantasy Star, you know, with NGS, NGS is fundamentally quite a different game now. Still an action RPG, obviously, and there is still some like loot element to it, but I feel like the loot element isn't as important in NGS. It's more about just getting some gear and then upgrading it. Is the soundtrack the OST? This is the OST for the game, yeah, so this is the actual boss theme for this guy. Let's put the shield up again. Even then, sometimes you just want to chew through hundreds of little guys instead of one big guy. I think that is kind of how NGS is. Basically, it's more about just like going through huge hordes of enemies rather than fighting specific ones. Yeah, Nick, I love this boss theme. Generally, the PSU soundtrack, I said this earlier, but the PSU soundtrack is really strong. The shield's still up. Can we please put the shield down? There we go. It's really awkward to hit. It doesn't help that it just doesn't stop moving as well. I actually don't know if I can hit him with an Anablast from here. I don't think I can. Might get the odd shot in his arms, but that's about it. Please don't be too loud. Still fairly loud. At least he's not as offensive as the other robot boss. It's weird because the rest of the game is balanced fine for volume. It's just that one explosion noise is way louder than everything else. So yeah, apologies for that. What I might have to start doing is like when that boss dies, I might just have to like click out to a different window just so it mutes PSU briefly. I've got a Lavis weapon actually. Got a Lavis Cyclone, which I'm assuming is Lavis Blades. It is. Yeah, I got Lavis, yeah. It's a very powerful explosion, they couldn't contain it. They tried to dial down the volume of it and just couldn't. Well, I think we did pretty good work. We got from what, 176, I think it was, to 181. Yeah, so obviously because you can have different element weapons in PSU, that's why it looks orange. So it looks weird seeing Lavis Blades orange, but that's why. It's because the ground element ones. Some weapons look better in PSU than others because of that. Five levels at endgame on a non-boosted wig. It's not bad going, really, is it? In what, 3 hours? I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, the events are insane. The events power leveled. I think considering we're not in an event at the moment, I think that's really, really good. But yeah, we will probably end that one there for today, I think. So, just to recap, the PSP2 video will go live to YouTube members tomorrow, and then we'll go live to everyone else on the Wednesday. Next stream will be on Wednesday, which will be continuing with the original Phantasy Star. And then the following Sunday will be a PSO video, and then we'll do a stream on Sunday as well. Probably end it here, but might not. No, I am going to end it here then. So yeah, on Sunday we'll maybe play some PSO BB. And then like I said, the following Wednesday after that there'll be a poll in the Discord, which I'll put up in the next couple of days. So just vote on that if you want to, and then we'll just go on whatever the most popular one is. Thanks to the bits killing you. Yeah, as always, if you enjoyed the stream, please do the usual. Like, subscribe, join us a member on YouTube if you want to. Follow us up on Twitch. You can also follow me on Twitter, SectionSkyly, and there is a Discord you can join as well, which on YouTube, there should be a link in the description to the Discord channel, so feel free to join there. We do play off stream as well. Need to play PS0 again now that I find the Wi-Fi adapter. I will be playing PS0 again. It won't be this week coming, but yeah, we will do another PS0 stream at some point as well. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the stream. Have a good week, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for another stream. Thanks for watching. See you later. We'll do the PS0 dance a bit before we go. Alright, see you later.